Welcome to Rev'n News. I'm Mike, and this is Joe, your Rev'n News hosts.
Rev'n News is your weekly automotive news source, delivering highlights on the latest products from the aftermarket and the industry's top movers and shakers. At Rev'n News, we cover anything that revs.
A few weeks ago, we focused on one of the three main components that make an engine run, air. This week, we're going for the other two, fuel and spark.
Now we know that the more efficient the combustion of the fuel within the chamber, the more power you get, which in turn gives you better performance.
And one way to get a better spark is to have better spark plugs. E3 is a great company that delivers better spark. Not only that, they have something new just for you racers. Check it out.
Hi, my name's Steve Joyner. I'm with E3 Spark Plugs. We make spark plugs for automotive applications, lawn and garden, power sport. The technology is all the same. Any gasoline engine, we make a plug that makes sense for them. The bottom line is we blow up the gas more completely, which allows us to put all that fuel to work. Less of it's wasted and exhausted when the exhaust port opens up. So again, the downstream benefits, more power, better fuel efficiency, and lower emissions as well. One of the exciting new things that we're doing this year is we're introducing a new race line of spark plugs. And we started with Top Fuel Plug. We've been testing at the NHRA events for the past year. We're pleased to announce that we've had 6 wins and out of 3 different drivers, so very exciting to be a part of that. We're bringing the balance of the race line to market this summer, so we'll have drag racing applications as well as circle track and road course applications. So we're very excited about that program. Same E3 technology as part of the program, but obviously built specific for the racing industry.
And Granatelli Motorsports designed some new technology to get rid of one of those annoying little problems.
Hi everybody, I'm Joe Granatelli from Granatelli Motorsports. We have a lot of exciting product to talk about, but today I want to focus predominantly on our ignition coils. I never thought Granatelli Motorsports would be in the coil business. We've been known for forced induction, superchargers, and fuel systems, but about 5 years ago I decided to come out with a unique ignition coil, and it's really paid dividends for us. So today we're going to talk about that for a little bit and tell you what makes us unique. Granatelli Motorsports has designed a unique coil, and what makes us so cool is that we have 0 EMI, which stands for electromagnetic interference, and RFI, radio frequency interference. We do that by running solid core wire and solid core cable. Now in the past, in the old days, we didn't really invent solid core cable. Solid core has been around for a while, solid stainless. But what happened was with the advent of fuel injection and as AM radios got stronger, when you're driving down the road, you'd hear that ee, you'd actually hear your engine RPM going up with the speakers. And the problem with that was that the spark plug wire in the ignition coil would create what was called EMI, electromagnetic interference, which then translated into RFI, radio frequency interference. We came up with what we call the magic donut. It's a ferrite ring that goes on the outside of the spark plug wire or the internal coils of the coil itself, so it's called bobbin technology, but that's another story. So we designed a unique ferrous material that suppresses the noise. And what that means ultimately, it's like running a jumper cable from your coil to your plug. You get 100% of the energy, and that translates into about 8 to 12 horsepower.
Now for you racers, getting a high octane fuel is essential. VP Racing Fuel delivers the right octane for your needs. And VP is big news for the consumer too.
Yeah, the thing that I think racers really have learned to trust about VP is the fuels are consistent. I mean, when you're putting a car or a bike on a dyno, getting your setup and all that stuff, you know, you're basing it on the fuel that you have. So when you go racing and you get that second drum of fuel, it's got to be consistent with the first drum. So that's a big thing in racing, is just the consistency of when we say it's going to perform this way and it has these ingredients, it's that way across the board from your first race to the 3rd or 4th in the season. VP Racing wants to take the brand that it's taken 40 years to build. I mean, it's somewhat of an iconic brand within the racing world. We want to take that out to the general public. So not only are we come out with consumer products, small engine fuels and our engine additives, we're actually doing branded gas stations across the United States. So all of these fans of VP that we've developed over the 40 years are going to help carry the brand out to the mass market. Okay, well, VP wanted to take everything we've learned over these 40 years on how to optimize your performance of your vehicle, whether it's 2 wheels, 4 wheels, and we wanted to put that into products that the average consumer can use in his daily ride. So we have products that are great for guys that have hopped up performance cars but have Honda Accords. So we have fuel injection cleaners, we have octane boosters, we have a new cetane booster for the diesel guys. That crowd is really growing the performance diesel. Guys aren't just satisfied with 800 foot-pounds of torque, they want 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. So they're really working on these diesel vehicles and optimizing their performance as well. So we have products for every car on the market, including the diesel.
Now, no combustion is complete without the fuel, and you need a fuel pump to get that fuel into the chambers. And Fuel Lab has just what you need with their new DC brushless technology.
Well, we really saw a need in the industry, in particular in fuel systems, where you know, the technology really hadn't changed for decades. They were still using the same types of motors in their fuel pumps. People were still having the same kind of problems in terms of overheating of the fuel pumps in a closed loop system like that. So you know, it presented itself as an opportunity for us to try and find a way to you know, keep the fuel cool, to be able to make high horsepower fuel pumps streetable. And so with that DC brushless technology and the control methods that we use for the fuel pumps, you know, we have microprocessors built into the fuel pump that actually control both the commutation of the motor and also the speed. And it allows for different inputs into the pump for different types of speed control. Well, speed control is done a couple of different ways. There are a number of different options for that. We do pre-program the speed control at the factory and in a simple, just a high-low type of setting. And people can use it that way as a standalone product and just go from a low setting on the street to a high setting at the racetrack, or maybe low for, you know, just daily driving and high speed under boosted conditions. But the pump has an extra terminal on the power side that allows for different types of inputs, from a hob switch, something as simple as a pressure switch that would tell the pump to go into full speed mode for boosted applications. It will accept different types of inputs from programmable ECUs. So as long as you're within 500, 1500 hertz on an output, you can control the speed of the pump. We've also developed, and it was part of the product planning, was for EFI applications, was an electronic fuel pressure regulator, which is pretty unique in that that device functions as a normal mechanical bypass style regulator, but it also has a pressure transducer that reads return line pressure, and when it sees a change in that return line pressure, it sends a signal to the pump to speed up or slow down based on engine demand. And that's pretty unique.
Well, we covered spark and fuel, but what about tuning to get the best spark and fuel curve for more power and performance?
For computer-controlled cars, that's going to require a reprogram of the ECU. And one company that's been delivering great tunes for 30 years is Hypertech.
Max Energy is perfect for your everyday performance guy, okay? Somebody who wants to get more power, more torque. You know, again, they've bought their brand new truck, or they bought their brand new muscle car, Camaro, Mustang, something like that. He or she wants to do their own modifications. It's very simple. You plug into the diagnostic port. It basically is yes and no answers. We've done all the hard work for you. Okay, so you're just going through and you're telling it what to upload into the vehicle, and then we do all the work to optimize the tune and do all that. Depending on what the vehicle is, there's lots of other options in there that you can get. So the TPMS was one of them. Sometimes there's, you know, the transmissions are controlled by the computers as well. So we can do things like shift points, shift firmness, of the transmissions, which is also very good for towing. We can do things like speed calibration. In 2015, we've got some new exciting products coming out. Basically, it's the next generation of what we currently have, which is our Max Energy. We've now come out with the Max Energy 2.0. The Max Energy 2.0 has got a bigger hard drive per se in it, and it allows us to do a lot more with the vehicles. Now, today's vehicles, the computers are controlling more. They've got more memory in them. They've got more functionality. There's more things that we can do with them. So we needed to up our product so that we can go and capitalize on all of those things that are available.
Welcome back to Rev'n News. You know, the LA Roadster Show has some great cars and some great builders as well. Our correspondent, Clarence Barnes, caught up with the Ring brothers to talk about one of their great builds.
So we're here in the main hall talking to the Ring brothers. We finally found them. Actually, it's not hard to find one, but to get a full set of rings, it is a mission at a show like this. This is the largest indoor car show in America, worldwide as a matter of fact. The Grand National Roadster Show means so much to so many people because of the weight it carries in the industry. People from all over the world come to Ground Zero, Pomona, California, to see the very best of the best. So, talking about this, I'm in front of one of the most talked about cars at SEMA this year. This Chevelle is amazing. Tell me a little bit about what you got here.
It's a 66 Chevelle we did for a guy, Chris McVie out of Ohio. He pretty much just gave us full reins on it, which is nice, you know, as builders and if you want to call us artists, I guess you can, but to be able to just do what you want to do with no restraints and actually have a good budget to do it, it's pretty cool. The only thing he wanted is metal seats.
Well, you know, that's a very interesting statement. To start out with metal seats, and all of a sudden you have, I believe it's 1,000 horsepower, right?
It's 1,000 horsepower that built by Wagner. It's a blown LS7.
See, there's little teeny personality tweaks between these two brothers, and I'm still trying to figure out who has the final say on the builds. Because when you come into the Ring brothers and you say, hey, we just like a couple steel seats, and you end up with 1,000 horsepower beast, take a look at this ride. What do you see underneath?
What I see is a very clean jet fighter 66 Chevelle. And if you heard it go down the road, it actually sounds like a jet fighter taking off. I don't know if it's the way the exhaust comes out, the 1,000 horse with the Flowmasters on it. With, you know, we put cats on these cars, so the smell, to clean up the smell. But the combination of all that with that kind of horsepower, it seriously sounds like an F-16 taking off at your local airstrip.
Yeah, flying right out above you. So let me ask you a question. I mean, there are so many details. Every time I look at this mic, I see new details that I didn't see before. I mean, when this came out at SEMA, everybody was looking. There was a crowd that went like city blocks when you unveiled this, and it's just a lot to take in. Let's talk about the details, the mirrors, and it looks like you have video cameras there too.
Yeah, we actually have video cameras on it. The mirrors were, you know, a thing that we were able to build because we had another few days before SEMA, and that's really how that stuff evolves. It's scary when you build these cars. You know, you get this good budget, but it doesn't mean it's going to turn out cool. And a lot of the detail comes in the last few weeks, if you're lucky enough to have that before you go to SEMA, just to sit back and look at it, because it's really the first time the car's all been together in the color with the glass in it. And then you sit back, and for us it was the trim around the windows to making the mirrors, the rear view mirror in the car, a lot of the engine details that we hadn't gotten to that we felt needed. So it's really in the last few weeks that we really try to do the little things that stick out to us.
Let me ask Jim, you know, the interesting thing about the Ring brothers, it's hard to see you guys sweat. And I know there's a lot to go into something like this. And then you have other projects that are happening simultaneously at the shop. What's it like, you know, days before you make it out to a big show?
I'll tell you what, we were scared. With the owner not seeing the car at all and only maybe a couple pictures throughout the build, knowing that we painted the car this color that we weren't sure about. You know, we'd have people come in the shop say who painted this color or who picked this color, and everybody be pointing a different direction, and nobody wanted to take responsibility. And it was a tough car. I'll tell you what, I was scared to death. We unloaded it at SEMA. There was a few people that seen it. They were pretty hush-hush. Don't know. I looked at Mike and I said, this is not going to be good. So we were scared. And then I said, you know what? As long as the owner's going to like it, I'm going to be happy. And you know, we pulled the cover up. I think it was pretty well taken. And we were happy. We had a great show.
So what's going to be next for you guys? I mean, last year was the Pantera. This year, the Chevelle. What's on deck for next year?
What a lot of people don't understand in our industry is every year you got a different budget and a different owner and a different car, and to one up what you do every year becomes somewhat difficult. We you know, because of a different budget or a different owner or a different car for that matter. But it takes a reasonable amount of money to pull this off. So. We do have a 65 Mustang, a full carbon fastback. It's a wide body, so it's a 65 fastback that we widen 4 inches. We put 2 in the quarters, 2 in the doors and the fenders, left the cockpit the same. So it gives it this real stealth fighter. But on top of that, we built the entire car out of steel, pulled these crazy molds. It's all hand laid in carbon. So the car literally, I think the car will probably weigh about 2,800 pounds done. Again, running another blown 1,000-horse motor in it. It should be a handful. Although the owner of that car is from Russia, he has a place in London. The car should be pretty well done in the next 3 months. We're going to ship it to London. He assured me he'd ship it back for SEMA, but I don't know if he will. I hope he does, because I really want people to see this car.
We're going to go have to kidnap the car. We're going to go have to take it. You guys are really cool, and I can't thank you enough for coming by, because it's always a blast when you're here, and always just looking at your cars when you bring them through. It's also always something really interesting. If you want to see more information, you can always see it at ringbrothers.com.
Welcome back to Rev'n News. We have talked a lot about the inner workings of engines, but what about the body? Anyone who has ever had body work done knows how important the paint job is. So Global Finishing Solutions has come out with some new, innovative technology.
So here today at Auto Mechanic, we are promoting our Rev'n products, which is an infrared shortwave curing method, typically used by body shops to cure coatings. When you use infrared, first of all, we can direct all the energy right into the panels that have been coated, and we're not wasting utilities by heating up the entire vehicle. We can only heat up the panels that we've coated and we need to cure. Also, infrared goes all the way down to the substrate or down to the metal of the vehicle, heats up the metal and cures the product from the inside out instead of trying to cure from the outside in, so you get a better cure. So oftentimes what can happen is anytime there's body filler work done or primer that needs to be done to fix imperfections in the panel, you know, if you don't get those products completely cured, when you apply the base coat and the clear coat, after a couple weeks, maybe a month, some of the sand scratches and imperfections will show up again because the products weren't completely cured, so they'll shrink in and it'll look like a bad repair. By using infrared technology, we can get them 100% completely cured, so when the body shop is done, it's going to look as good day one as it is, you know, on into the future. So what we've done is we really looked all around the world at different means to do repair, auto body repair, and then we figure out what seems to make the most sense and then kind of put it all together and then vet everything out through an R&D process at Global, and then we go out and find target shops and work with them to refine the process, and then we release it to the general market. So it's important for people to think about the methods that, you know, a shop is using to repair your vehicle, because when you use newer technology, you're typically going to get a much better repair that's going to last a lot longer. For more information, you can visit our website at www.globalfinishing.com.
And when you spend the big bucks on a sweet paint job, you need to protect it with the right wax and wash products.
What makes Sonix different is the research and development that's put into and the time put into truly developing formulations that make an auto enthusiast and a professional get a better result when they're cleaning their car. The time and effort that's put into it, and they spare no expense as far as the ingredients that are used in the formulations themselves. They just work. From a category perspective, where you talk about interior, wheels and tires, exterior, their products are second to none. If you just painted your car The last thing you would want to do is use chemicals or polishes that are going to damage the time and effort to the new paint that you just applied to the car. So what you want to do is assure yourself that the technology is there so that you're not damaging the clear coat and providing more work for yourself so that the paint brilliance comes out in the end. As far as training programs Sonex provides, we have experts around the country. We have a group of experts, detailing experts, that we can call on that will provide knowledge and education and technique information so that the Sonex products can be used effectively and efficiently. You can find out more about Sonex at our website, www.sonexusa.com.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Rev'n News.
And if you just can't get enough of cars, trucks, Jeeps, shows, parts, and products, then keep tuning in each week.
Now we invite you to follow us on Facebook and check us out on YouTube. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.
You know, at Rev'n News, we cover anything that revs.
This is what we're revving.
What are you revving?